That makes it so easy for me now.
It slipped.
Hey guys, I'm Mike.
I'm Bob.
I am Andrew.
This is the Board Game Rundown. Today we are reviewing Wonderland War.
Oh, baby.
Which is a Alice in Wonderland theme bag building game with area control.
Push your luck.
Of course. All of the Wonderland characters you would expect. We're going to go over it today. Before we get too far, Bob, what should the people at home do?
Make sure you like and subscribe, share the video, comment down below,
Yes.
all those types of fun YouTube things.
Right.
Yes.
Because we're going to be doing a lot more reviews and top 10s. We want you to see them, but hey, we're open to feedback, so tell us what you think. So
Most of us.
we're going to give you a brief kind of overview on how this game plays. Then we're going to review it, talk about the components, and finally give it a score. So in this game, you're going to start with a tea party phase where everybody's going around this table and picking up chips off of these cards. This is how you're actually building your bag. Every single one of these cards has different chips that you'll just chuck right into your bag to build up your battle system.
Like this guy would go here with these plates, right?
Yep, they have to land on
take
one of
this
those
card,
plates, and then
now
they
it's
snag
gone.
a card and immediately take the benefit. Most of them are chips. Some of them are faction upgrades on your board. Some of them are quest cards, which are like in-game scoring. There's others that allow you to gain Wonderlandians, and Wonderlandians are the extra characters that you remember from Alice in Wonderland, like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, for example. The Mad Hatter, the March Hare.
There was a walrus in there, wasn't it?
The White Rabbit, of course.
caterpillar.
The caterpillars in this game. So really all of the Wonderland characters that you would expect.
And this is because Alice in Wonderland has now become public domain, so now anybody can do anything Alice in Wonderland themed.
Yeah, I
Without
don't know
paying a
that
fee.
anybody's ever added any extra characters. These are all the same characters that
Sure.
have been
Sure.
carried on for years. But yeah, it's taken on different interpretations for sure. With all the movies and everything that have come out for this, and now tons of games too. But you continue doing this tea party phase. You'll do it 4 times, and once you've grabbed 4 cards, then you move on to the battle phase. And anywhere you have presence in a region is where you'll actually partake in a battle. So for example, pink here is in this region. Anybody else in that region would also participate in that battle. And that is when your actual bag pulling starts. Because you're using that tea party to kind of set up where your guys go, what kind of chips are in your bag, what kind of combos you're going to get. Then you start this battle phase. So in a battle, everybody that has presence gets to start pulling from their bag. Everybody pulls at the exact same time. So you pull a chip from your bag. Oh,
Ooh,
yeah, you
nice
get the nice
for-
little
yeah,
rattle.
Yep.
You draw it, and it's a madness chip. So a madness chip has a broken meeple on it. You actually have to pull one of your figures from that region that you are having a battle in. Okay.
It's like losing a health.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of
So
losing a health.
the more followers or presence you have in a region, the more you can keep pulling, because you're going to start these battles with anywhere between 3 and 4 madness chips, and you're adding to that as you go.
We all go.
So after he draws his chip, that was a madness chip, you continue drawing. He drew a 3 this time. So you actually keep track of that on the battle track up there. So you set a starting strength. Like if your leader's in that region, every leader has a different starting battle strength that they add to it. You can build castles in regions that affect strength as well. But every time your Wonderlandians also can affect
Contribute.
the battle strength as well. And every chip you pull adds a number to that battle strength, and you keep track of it on the track. We continue to go until maybe you stop. Maybe you say, okay, you know what? I don't want to pull anymore.
Right? I don't want to lose my last guy, because if you lose your last guy, you bust.
You bust. So if
then
you
you're
pull
out of the
that
fight.
madness chip, and he goes away, bam, you bust. So it doesn't matter how many chips you have in your active track or how high you got on that track. Boom, you lost presence in the battle, and your battle track resets to 0.
And the reason that's important is because each of these areas have a certain amount of victory points randomly distributed. These are all dealt out at the beginning of the round, or the beginning of the game.
Beginning of the game, yes.
Yeah. So if you bust, then you lose your opportunity of scoring victory points, which some of these in the first round only score 2 or 4, but in later rounds, you can score up to 10 or 12 points. So you do not want to be overdrawing, leading yourself to insanity and not scoring points.
Yeah, those battle points are definitely huge because not only do you get the points off of them, if you win the battle, you'll get to place a castle as well.
Yes.
That's battle strength, like I mentioned earlier.
2, right?
Yep.
2 strength. But it's also more points at the end of the game. You get a base of 3 points per castle, but you actually have a way to draw forge chips and slot chips into your player board. Your player board has ways to slot chips into it, and as you do that, you'll unlock
Asymmetric player board.
asymmetric
And
player
beautifully
boards with
asymmetric.
asymmetric upgrades and forging chips to cull the beginner chips out of your bag. You lock them into your board, and you get more points for those castles as you go along too. More meeples, more quests. So always working that player board. But you do that, you continue to pull until everybody is either bust or everybody is passed, or you have one person alive and everybody stopped or bust or whatever it may be. So you do that in every region, and you do that 3 times, and that's the game.
One of the cool things I like about this is, so if say you're not in a fight, you're just not sitting around waiting for them to get done. Everybody's going to have these wager cards. And so if I'm not in the fight and they're fighting it out, I get to place a bet face down on who I think is going to win. If I guess correctly, I get a free chip. If I'm wrong, I go a little more mad. You know, so
and these
it's a cool
madness
way to
chips,
keep you
just for some context, at the beginning of the round, if you have the most of these madness chips, which we didn't bring up all of the ways to get madness chips, but there are plenty of ways to get madness chips. Yeah. If you have the most or other conditions, that that forces you to put those negative chips into your bag. So you don't want to have the most madness, because then you're just mixing up a whole bunch of bad into your deck. Or into your bag, that you do not want to be drawing.
Right.
Yeah, it's at the end of the Tea Party phase. Everybody automatically just grabs
gets one
madness chip. So every round you're getting more, but if you have the most, you'll get a second madness chip.
Correct.
The one thing that I think is interesting about the bag building in this is that it's not always, let me just pull as many as I can out of my bag. I need my total as high as possible. Although sometimes that is what it's all about.
Yeah.
But if you're like, well, I don't care about this battle, I don't have to win, because there's quests in your hand, and these quests say stop at 6 strength on, or stop at 6 battle strength in Tolgi Woods, or stop on the Forge Hammer,
have
in
a 1 be
Red
the last
Keep.
one.
Yeah, so there's lots of different quest cards in the game that give you a reason to stop and not just keep pulling as long as you can, which is in, the mechanic of some of these games.
And one of the things I would say, it's more of an area majority than an area control, because to me, an area control would be like, well, you're pushing everybody else out. But an area majority, you can have other people there with you still. Yeah. So like, while you might not win the fight, your guys are still going to stay there, and like, you can be multiple castles in the same area too. And it's just whoever has the strongest strength is going to win the majority of the points, and then second place will get half the points, but you don't lose all of your bits.
And it can be really intimidating too. Like if there's, let's say I'm playing a 4-player game and I've like 3 other players have already won in this area or have placed a castle there for some reason. There tends to be a feeling in games like this, like, oh, I don't want to go there. They're crushing me. But like with those quest cards, I don't feel afraid to go in there with 1 or 2 of those chips, just to say like, all right, I'm gonna take part in this area of the board. I'm going to battle a little bit, and I'm going to get as far as I need to complete my quest. It doesn't feel so far gone. It's like, oh man, they've got 10 dudes there.
Yeah,
I can't go there. Why bother?
Yeah.
So just one of my small praises as we get towards the final thoughts. Like, I love that feeling that I'm going to go there. I'm going to place my dude there.
Yeah. It feels good because you don't want to just give somebody sole control of an area, because they will gain the points or the castle, and they get to choose. And as soon as somebody's like the Lone Ranger in one of these regions, everybody's like, okay, let's make sure he's not getting free points here. Yeah, you really have to force people to battle to earn those points.
And then you're going to go through a combination of Tea Party phase and battle phase 3 times. And then after you do that, the game is going to be over.
Yeah, you get most of your points from the battles that you win, from those quest cards that you turn in.
Quest cards.
At the top, they are fulfilled at the end of battle. And at the bottom, you score them at the end of game, like having 7 of so many ally chips, or having
easy
5 strong chips.
Yeah. One of the things I like about the quests is that, yes, there's 2 different quests on there, and you can do one or the other, but if you do both, you get a bonus. So it's like they're 3 points each, or if you do both, you get 9. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and just to go over kind of an idea of the different chips, like you start with real basic chips that are tied to your factions. Yeah, you can unlock threes at the far right of your forge track. But all these allied chips, I mean, we'll go over the components here in a bit, but these are all your faction chips that you start with, and there's 5 different colors in there.
Deluxe edition.
Yeah, for the record, this is Deluxe edition.
Deluxe.
But this is going to be available on Kickstarter super soon.
Yeah,
so
we're reviewing this right as this second edition is getting reprinted.
Yep.
But you have forged chips when you put in your track. They're the ones that allow you to slot chips into your player board and unlock other things. You have roses, which give you points just for playing them, and more points if you forge them onto your board. You've got card soldiers that you can double their strength, or you can take one of your exhausted chips and put them back in your active. So as you're playing, like as soon as a battle's over, you resolve all your chips that are still active, and after the end of the battle, you move them to your exhausted. So you can't just keep reusing them.
So something I love about this, though, and I'm going to bring up another game that most of us have played, Quacks of Quedlinburg,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
is Mike just told you what these chips do if you're playing
The A.
version A.
Yes.
But there is version A, version B, version C, and version D.
Yeah, there's 4 different types.
4 different ways, and
That's just awesome replayability.
awesome replayability. And you could take it upon yourself to mix those
Mix and
around
match.
even.
See what happens.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're rolling the dice with fairness there, but like, hey,
Build
you
your
have-
own sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Quacks. I know.
Oh, yeah.
You've
Oh,
compared this
absolutely.
to Quacks in some
you
ways,
have to.
but this even crushes Quacks.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It does.
And that's saying something huge.
Yeah.
Quacks is a great game, and it was my favorite bag builder. And then I played this. I'm like, well, that Quacks used to be my favorite bag builder. It's just, it's really good. I'm kind of diving into final thoughts, but it's an excellent bag building mechanic.
Should we go more into components then?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's in the box?
Man, so components.
Go ahead and tell us about them, Bob.
Sexy.
They're amazing.
All right,
yeah.
final thoughts.
So I played Mike's copy. He's got the base copy, and I really like the game. He used the coin capsules on his cardboard bits, which is pretty good. It's better than nothing. But then I saw the upgraded components on the deluxe edition, and I just had to.
Yep.
Like, I love the color pattern. I love the individual stylized castles that there are. They're great. All the minis for all the Wonderlandians are awesome. Like
Those
instead of just being
castles are
standees.
kind of weird looking.
But
this is
there's
Wonderland
kind of the
War,
point.
so
yeah, that's kind of the point. Individual little minis for each of the other, like I said, Wonderlandians and all the characters.
I love the caterpillar miniature,
I want to
by the way.
see this game painted.
Yeah.
There are not many games where I want to see.
I'm going to wash a lot of those people. Yeah, see what's going on. All of the meeples that you get for your board are all custom shaped, whereas in the standard version, I believe they're all just standard
same
meeples.
shape.
Yep. So that's super nice. The stickers are Etsy. So you guys know I went on Etsy and bought the stickers for them just to make them a little cooler.
What's the price tag on the base game? Do you happen to know?
I got it. It was like $50.
Are you dead serious?
Online.
Yeah.
So online
Wow.
retailer.
I think I paid like one for
the
120.
Deluxe with the premium chips on Kickstarter, I believe, was like $135.
Wow.
Yeah.
And prices always go down.
Yeah.
I mean, and this
I haven't
is a
seen a game
big old
increase in
box
price.
Big
to
old
carry
box.
it.
It is a
carry
large
all
box.
Very
that.
much. Very
We
much.
got to show off those
We
chips.
will.
Yes.
Before you get to those chips, real quick, at the bottom of the box is an amazing insert.
Great
It holds
insert at the
everything
bottom.
in place.
It
All
does.
the cards holds them
can put your
sleeved.
finger in there.
Yes, it helps you to put the finger in there to lift all the trays out. It's amazing.
And
Like, I
everything
love this
stays
insert.
put.
Everything,
I think you
yes.
could store that vertically and
Yes.
nothing would fall out.
Totally.
Which is extremely impressive for those form-fit inserts
Yeah.
where you're trying to cram meeples in because
Yep.
Lords of Waterdeep, don't even try. I
Yeah.
was worried when I see those form-fit inserts like that. That one,
All
absolutely.
everywhere. Yeah, let's bust those chips out. So that's like these are the deluxeified chips. They're like a plastic
gotcha.
clay type of feeling.
Oh, and magnetic.
magnetic
Yes.
glass.
Okay,
Closes
I'm
with
a
magnet.
sucker for that.
Plop it on the board and
Yeah.
literally you're done setting up
Boom.
the chips.
There it is.
I mean,
It's got a map that tells you where they all go. These are like all the player color chips. Like it just makes setup and tear down like so much easier.
Really does.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have the colorblind guy put it there.
That's, oh, jeez. Oh, I just.
You get a little mixed match there. That's what happens.
Insulted.
I mean, the shard die is pretty basic. Like you roll that when you go around the head of the table board, or at the head of the table for the tea party, and that's going to give you some madness as you go. But like I I love the cards. I love the tarot cards are great.
Nice big
The
cards.
art style is fantastic.
So many things.
So many things about the components that I enjoy. These bags, they came with the deluxe version. They got a flat bottom,
Deluxe.
which is great. Well, yeah, it comes with the
Okay.
deluxe copy.
just
It will come with it. They're not the
Leave
only
them
thing.
sitting on the table.
Yeah, you just leave it sitting on the table. The only thing that's not standard with the deluxe version is the stickers. Everything else you see here, you'll get with the deluxe edition.
In the base game, do you get those bags as well?
No.
Okay,
No.
so how are you drawing?
You get
bags?
basic
Bags.
You get
Just
base,
not-
basic bags.
Yeah, basic
you don't
bags.
Get
You just don't get the
art.
beautiful
Gotcha.
art, the flat bottom ones. You just get a regular bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is okay, you know what I mean. But I like the fancy bits, and like it's beautiful. That's why I had to get it. When
Yeah.
I saw what all came with it, I was like, to me, it's worth it.
Yep.
Andrew, anything you want to add on the components?
It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous game. I'm a sucker for color palettes, and this game, it's not my favorite color palette that I've ever seen, but it's still
Pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what 9.8 on the color palette?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
To say that I'm looking for flaws in this game, man, it's just
My biggest
component wise. I mean, you got the linen cards.
Yep.
That's my jam. I love that.
Yep.
Everything makes so much sense. You can pick up this game the first time, the iconography, you get it. I love those Wonderlandians. There's so many of them. The quests, some of the best quests in medium weight, non-intimidating games that I've ever seen.
Not overly complicated.
Not overly complicated. You can do it. You never feel like you're too far behind. Love these
player boards.
Little thin. No linen finish on this guy.
No.
Strange, but
I have seen some cool like aftermarket, like I don't know if anybody's played the Cthulhu Death May Die, but like those plastic things that you slide. It's basically like that, and they'll hold that in place. It's like that makes it basically dual layered and
Yeah.
holds all your chips and stuff in place. It's
rounded
pretty
corners.
nice,
I mean, I'm not nitpicking, but the rounded corners definitely are going to prevent that awful
ding.
Sparkle,
I say my
sparkle.
biggest knock on the components is this monstrosity. It's huge.
big
Look, you
rule
can't even
board.
see me. Where'd I go? I don't know. I'm behind the rule book. I'm trying to read it. But it's such a table hog, right? 'Cause it's such a large board and everything else going on
don't
that
know
when
if
you
it's a
have to look at the
hog.
book, like
Yeah.
it's just. It's huge.
It
It
is.
is huge. It takes up so much space. Luckily, it's an easy enough game where you don't need it very often.
You don't.
And there's some cool like flow charts. It's a little like complicated to like decipher the flow chart, but it does help. The player aids are super
They're
helpful.
great.
Love me a flow chart.
Yeah, there's 2 player aids that you get. You get one that has like the Tea Party breakdown and the War Phase breakdown. Then you also get a breakdown of what all of the abilities are for the allies.
ally chips.
Yes, and because since they're all different, right? A, B, C's, and D's, you just get the appropriate card, and you don't have to keep looking at all these when they're laid out. You can just look at your card and know what they all do.
Yeah, because they
That's super
have a
nice.
reference card for all of them that you can set on the
Correct.
table, but it's like, well,
Trying to read.
why be
look,
just read
yeah.
your reference
You get
card?
a reference
That's
card.
super handy.
Yeah.
I was definitely going to touch on those references too, because those
Yep.
they're perfect.
Yeah, they're well done,
I
well
mean,
done.
I've taught this every time I've had to play it, which is about 5 times now. Once we start the game, I'm not touching the rule book. Like
Yeah.
I need a little help with setup, but
Right.
setup takes a little while, but it's not hard to do.
I have a quick question on this second Kickstarter. Are they going to have upgrade packs available for people who own Wonderland's War, even the deluxe edition,
Yeah.
for people who just want the upgraded character abilities and the rebalancing? Do you
I
happen
think
to
you,
know?
I think you can add just the player boards on.
Because just the player boards are being
Right. Well, just
reworked.
2 of the player boards. So the Mad Hatter was way overpowered. Like he was winning every time. They revamped him, and then nobody was playing the Jabberwock because the ability wasn't very good. So they gave him a little bit of
Yeah.
a boost. We played with the upgraded bits, and the Mad Hatter didn't seem like it was too weak. I mean, you didn't
But,
win.
the
but
Mad
still
Hatter win?
good.
Still good, and I
And then
played the
he
Jabberwock.
won
and
with the Jabberwock.
Yeah, and I actually had a
So-
lot of fun. It played really
Yeah,
well.
he was doing some really cool things
Really
with
cool
his
stuff.
madness track. So
Cool.
Yes.
but yeah,
So I think you can add those on, but I don't think. Sorry to finish answering your question. I don't think there's an actual upgrade pack because the box is different. Everything else is. You can
Yeah.
buy the chip box separately, I believe.
Okay.
Right, and then it would just be a separate box.
I would
for
think
your
for
standard
20
box.
bucks you could just buy the player cards.
Yeah, I think the boards
updated-
are going to be not that expensive.
in the first
Okay.
edition there was deluxe, and then there was deluxe with premium chips. So it's
hate that.
possible.
I
to
hate
just
that.
buy the premium chips.
So it's
separately.
possible you may
Sure.
be able to just buy those chips separately, but I'm not totally
Yeah,
sure.
because when it did arrive, it was a separate
Sure.
thing.
Right. Yeah. So I
Man,
think
is
that
pretty.
It is.
it really
It's
is.
worth
I
it.
mean,
I don't
It's
like
really
all the
worth it.
tiers of purchasing, but man, that is pretty.
even my retail, it's the same board and it's just absolutely gorgeous. But then to play with these really heavy bags and those really heavy clay chips is a very rewarding experience.
It is.
So I think that's everything for components.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Andrew, why don't you go ahead and give us your final thoughts on Wonderland War?
Yeah, so if you check out our 5 or 10 top 10 board game mechanics, this one just checks everything off. I love deck builders. Yeah, it's a bag builder, whatever.
Kind of the same.
This has push your luck. It has area control, majority
Yeah,
control.
They're pretty similar.
Well, because you don't even need to be majority in this game.
It's true.
You just got to get in there and do what you need to do, or just stay out. I kind of judge a game based on of this caliber. It's a fantastic game, but you own this game. You own this game. I don't need to own this game, but I want it. I was gonna ask.
It's a great barometer.
Do they sell it out here? Does
I don't-
Fantasy
I
sell
don't think
it?
it's on
they
this.
don't.
No,
Yeah,
not yet.
and it's like, I want to go find this game because I want to show it off.
Yeah.
It's such a gorgeous game. Everything about it. I want to whip it out with we have our group here, but I want to show it to my other friends because they're huge fans of medium weight games. They love quacks. I just want to bring this bad boy to the table, and I want to play it, and I want to play it again, and I want to play it again.
It is one of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It checks every single box I have. It's unfair how much I enjoy this game.
Nice.
So I have a feeling this is going to be fanboy for the next 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
what do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll jump in. I'll let Bob summarize because Bob and I both bought the game, and Bob bought it after playing my retail edition. He was scouring to find the deluxe. So that gives you an idea of how much we enjoy this game. But I also want to add, I put this game in our top 10 games with the best components.
Yep.
I mean, these clay chips,
Which you should go
those
watch.
trays, these
comment,
bags,
subscribe.
this board, this art.
Yeah.
Just creates a package that I just absolutely love. I love this theme. I grew up watching Disney's Alice in Wonderland on repeat when I was a kid. So I'm just infatuated with this world. They did it justice with the art. It hits this sweet spot where it's a little cartoony, but a little dark and a little weird. And that's perfect for Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, for sure.
It just nails the theme with the color and the art. It really does. But the game mechanics are so incredibly fun because, there was a battle the other night Bob and I are still talking about where, he's on track. He's on
Yes.
21
I
of the
was there for
battle
that
track.
game.
I was all the way down
No, I
at
was at
10
24.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
on
was
the
about.
forge, and I
He
was
was
like, I'm gonna
one
stop
spot
so I get the
away,
free
and he
forge.
stopped.
Yeah.
I drew out 7 chips in a row without busting, and it was a super epic battle where I pulled that last chip and I just stood up and yes,
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
And this game has those moments in it, and those are some of my favorite experiences in games where you're talking about it later, or you're like, yes, I pulled the
Right.
exact chip that I
core
needed.
memory formed. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, the experience is there, the mechanics are there. I love how it gives you reason to stop. You don't have to win battles. You can just stop and forge or gain, finish one of your quests and all these unique guys that you can add. The wager system is great because other times there's other players in a battle and you're not in it. There can be downtime there.
Yeah.
There can be 5 to 10 minutes of the other players pulling and activating their
Yeah.
chips and counting them up. But you're vested. You
Yeah.
got this
You got
wager.
something on it. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't stop now. Keep pulling.
Yeah, you're egging them on so that you don't even mind the downtime.
So-
and there's no downtime in the tea party. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You're whipping
Go,
right
go,
around.
go.
That was actually my one immersion breaker.
If I
why am
had to
wagering?
say what the down or the con is to this game, it's a lot to set up because there's a lot of pieces. It does play long. I mean, it's 25 minutes a player. But when you add teach and you ask questions, it's 2.5, and really a 5-player is 2.5 to 3. So you need to be aware of that. But
Unless all players know what they're doing, then it'll be a little quicker.
Yeah, it'll go quicker within a couple games, and it's not hard to figure out.
Right.
But there is some setup. There is a lot to explain, and it does take a little while, but just very minor cons for a great game.
But even though it takes a long time, it never feels like it overstays its welcome because you're having fun and you're doing things. It's only the 3 rounds, right? So it doesn't like take forever to get through everything. Like I'm with you guys. Like, I love the components. I love all the bits. Like one of the things I appreciated over Quacks is Quacks. I love Quacks. It's fun. Oh, I busted. I'm done. That's it. This, it's like there's still more going on. Like, you know, it's not just that.
There's more to do.
And there's more to do, yes, and I appreciate that. The only thing I really feel like they could have done to make this any better was to make this dual layered out of the gate because I love dual layered boards. And I think it would fit
Could you
really
imagine
well
putting a chip
layered.
right into that? Like,
satisfying. So let me forge this.
I know.
Yes.
There will be some overlays. There probably are already.
I would say there are on Etsy. I've seen them, but it'd be nice to have some official ones. You know what I mean? But other than that, though, like so many different things that you can do on this with the different magnets that go around, and everybody has like an ability that's always active as you keep going. You have a shield, so like as you're kind of like you would up the potion in Quacks, where if you pull out a chip and it would make you bust, you could flip the shield over and put it back in your bag and choose to keep going or not. Second place actually gets something, so you don't have to win. You can just be in second place to still get some points. And it never really felt like anybody ran away with it. Like it felt like it was competitive the entire time, and I could appreciate that as well. Love the color palette. Like to me, like purples and blacks and pinks. I like it. I love that contrast. The way like some of the abilities combo, like the Mad Hatter's got one where like his teacup can go into his madness track, so you don't have to lose a guy for it. But then if you fill your madness track up, you get an extra chip. Things like that. The Jabberwock, like, oh, I only have a 4+4 with my claw, but if I'm behind, I get an extra bonus because that's one of his abilities. Or the poison chips, where I'm putting them in other people's bags, and then when they pull them out, they have to lose a meeple. It's so asymmetrical. I love it. Like the minis are super cool. I can't wait to get a little bit of a wash on there, really make them pop. Like it's rapidly becoming one of my favorite games. Like I really like this game. It's well done.
Well, enough gushing. Let's get to our final score.
All right.
Really good time.
Okay, so our final scores. The way we always do this is all of us are going to give it a score from 1 to 10 using 0.5s. We're going to add our scores together, average them, and that way you'll just get one score that is the Board Game Rundown score. That's the score that we put on Board Game Geek, Discord, anywhere you want to hear the Board Game Rundown score. But you can listen to everybody's individual takes, see who you agree with. So, Andrew, tell us your score on this game.
So my score is a 9. This is a fantastic game. It checks every single box I have. I want to play it more. I put this up there with Planet Unknown. I put it up there with Ark Nova. I put it up there with, what games just immediately stick out in my mind? Wonderland's War. This game crushes it. It does everything I want. I want to order the second edition.
Yeah.
Even though all of my friends own this game, I want to have the new version.
Yeah.
And I think it is just as simple as that. This game gets a 9 from me, and it is fantastic.
Well, I'm probably going to sell my retail edition and get the deluxe.
Oh, speaking of which, that brass Birmingham that I own.
Oh, we can talk.
I would do a 1-to-1.
We can talk about that. A 1-to-1's a little crazy.
Here
yeah, because you would owe me maybe $40.
But I've already put $50 into the retail plus $25 in coin capsules and took the 2 hours to put them on, and yet I still want the second edition because this game is so good. Like you said, it checks nearly every single box for me. I've had epic experiences playing this. I've enjoyed it at 2. I've enjoyed it at 3. I've enjoyed it at 4. 5 is the only time I haven't played it with. But what, you add an extra half hour to what's already a pretty epic game. I don't really have cons for this game other than maybe a tad long, but it doesn't ever overstay its welcome, like you said. And it's a bit to set up and explain, but man, this game just sings. It's not perfect. It's a 9.5 for me. It's just absolutely awesome. I enjoy playing it so much, and it's a contender for the game of the year for me.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I think you're right. I think I rated Quacks at about a 9, and I enjoy this more than Quacks. I love the area, like majority/control of it. The 2 separate types of phases, how because the Tea Party is it's fun. Like to me, it felt thematic. Like you're going around, you're collecting the cards, like you're drinking the tea, and it's making you go a little crazy. The only thing it's missing, the two biggest knocks, like I said, size of the rule book. Even though like I haven't actually had to look through the rule book a whole lot because Mike has done a good job teaching it, and the lack of the dual layered, but. That's so nitpicky with so much other stuff going on. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 as well.
Wow.
Just because, like it's like I say, it's rapidly becoming one of my favorite games. Like it's already cracked my top 10 pretty easily. Like I just want to keep playing it.
Yeah, I know. So what's that give our average score?
So if you take all of our scores and you average them together,
and we give it 10 from Tim.
Yeah, a 9.3.
9.3.
Wow, that's got to be
pretty good.
That's one of the highest scores that we've given.
Yeah.
So
as a show,
I mean, it's an excellent production.
So
it's got solid mechanics, fun player interaction.
Yep.
Obviously, we all love it, and that's why we had to get a review out for it. Yeah. So, guys, anything else you want to add?
No, if you enjoy these kinds of mechanics, get this game because you are going to be upset once you finally play it.
And by mechanics, we mean bag building,
area control,
press your luck.
Yeah.
If you like quacks, buy this game.
Yeah,
100%. And most of you do, so just go buy it. This game is fantastic.
It is.
It really is. Mm-hmm. So for the board game rundown, I've been Mike.
I was Bob.
I am Andrew. What do you mean was? I was.
I don't know.
I am Andrew.
He's the one that does
During this video, I was, and I still will be.
Yeah, I will always be.
Still
Andrew.
am, though.
Wonderland's War. Hope you enjoyed.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.